while having at the same time the security of biometrics. So Zwipe has been around since 2009, all the time focused on pioneering the next generation contactless payment experience. So we have been working on this for more than a decade, and now we're very soon approaching piloting and deployment later this year. We can offer the entire solution combined, all the hardware and the software solutions needed in order to create a biometric payment card, which means that, of course, your fingerprints are stored on a template inside the card, and that you are authenticating yourself with your fingerprint on the sensor, which is shown on this photo here. We have at Zwipe powered 12 out of a total of 23 pilots that have been announced so far in the world, with a lot of very valuable learning. And we're seeing that the response from consumers and banks alike are very, very positive. Let's step back for a second and just look at the total market for payment cards. This is a market of 4 billion units per year, and it's been characterized by growth from innovation. In 1995, the chip and PIN card was introduced in Europe. It was contact only, meaning that you have to insert the card into the payment terminal and then you enter your PIN code. Totally new payment terminals were required. So there was a huge investment, and the benefit, of course, was increased security. It took quite a while before it reached really high volumes, 18 years before it reached a volume of 1 billion cards. Then in 2007 came the next generation cards, which were contactless, so that you could actually just tap and pay without entering the card into the terminal, and also without entering a PIN code. This card was first launched by Barclays in the UK at the end of 2007. Again, new POS infrastructure was required, so again, a huge investment. And prices at the time were about 5 times higher than the chip and PIN cards. And despite that, the cards became very, very popular and reached the billion threshold per year already after 8 years after launch. And they're actually about to take over completely from the chip and PIN cards. Since then, of course, we have seen biometrics being used in various applications, for example, mobile phones, which has given consumers a lot more familiarity with biometrics, and they have come to really appreciate the convenience that comes with it. So that has also, of course, opened the route to the next generation payment cards again, which are going to be biometric. And I will be talking a little bit more about that. But first of all, let me just explain what is a biometric payment card. So what it means is that the authentication happens through your fingerprint on the card. So the template of your fingerprint is enrolled on the card. I will get back to that in the convenience of your own home. And after that, only you will be able to use your card, because it will recognize your fingerprint and authenticate the transaction on the card, and then communicate that to the payment terminal to run the transaction, regardless of whether it's below or above the transaction limits, which are typically around 45 to 50 euros around the world. In order to run this biometric authentication, the card needs energy, and there is no battery in the card. So what it does is it harvests the energy from the NFC field above the payment terminal to run the transaction. And the transaction time will typically be in the order of 1 to 1.2 seconds, which is about 1 second more than the typical tap and pay transaction, which is not authenticated at all. And once the authentication is done, then, as I said, the authorized transaction is communicated to the terminal and run through without any transaction limit. So in theory, you could pay up to your credit limit on one single tap and pay transaction, completely touchless and frictionless. So what are then the value adds of a biometric payment card? Well, like I said, there has been an interest in biometric payment cards for years. And this has mostly been driven by the added convenience of not having to think about transaction limits, not having to abort your transactions or insert the card and enter your PIN code or anything. It's much more convenient. It's much more time saving. Also, there is, of course, the privacy issue because, or benefit, because the authentication happens completely invisibly, and nobody can see any PIN code or anything, and your biometric data are only stored on the card, nowhere else. So nobody will be able to see or intercept your biometric data. And the incentive to try to hack such a card, of course, is very low compared to hacking a central database. And it has proven to be extremely difficult because your data are stored inside the secure element in the card, and it's virtually impossible to hack. We have done tests with labs that have not been able to hack our cards at all. So, and then of course you have the added security, because a lot of consumers have severe security concerns around contactless cards because they can be misused, etc. And then you have the innovation effect. But on top of that now comes a big game changer, and that of course is COVID-19, which has increased the focus and the awareness around human safety and not touching shared surfaces, etc. And therefore, touchless, truly touchless transactions is even more sought after. So when consumers are being exposed to this opportunity, they really, they love it. We have done tests and surveys in many countries. Sweden and Norway are quite representative. The UK is exactly the same. So 4 out of 5 consumers are saying they are concerned about touching the payment terminal in shops. 3 out of 4 say they want their next payment card to be biometric. And 1 in 2, very interestingly, are willing to pay a significant amount. Per month, it could be between $2 and up to $12 we've seen per month to have access to a biometric payment card. And finally, even 1 in 2 says they are willing to switch banks if another bank offers a biometric payment card, whereas your existing bank does not. So this, of course, offers a huge opportunity also for issuers, because if they can charge $2 per month, then over 12 months, you have $24 million of extra revenue coming in for every 1 million cards that you can convert to biometric cards. And on top of that comes fraud prevention, top of wallet effects, and very, very importantly, the accelerated customer acquisition and customer loyalty of offering peace of mind to consumers, which is so important. So the opportunity is there for everyone. When it comes to the technology to enable this, we are seeing now a breakthrough in technology development, so that we are getting from a very complex and expensive solution to a very single one. And this is the solution that we are taking to market, a single silicon solution. So one semiconductor, which will handle the whole biometric functionality, and that will radically reduce costs and give us access to the price inflection point of $10 per card. And this is where we are going. Enrollment can happen either through a sleeve or on a mobile phone, and we are offering both solutions. The mobile phone solution is currently in development, and we have built up a huge global network of partners, both card manufacturers, processors, and other go-to-market partners, so that we can offer this opportunity all over the world. Only this week, We announced a partnership with KL High-Tech, which is one of the largest and most prominent card manufacturers in India. And also we announced a partnership with a processor in France and the Benelux called Bewise Pay, who will be bringing our biometric payment cards to that part of the world. We're seeing the greatest interest from Europe and from the Middle East and from Asia. And so finally, it's all coming together, and it's happening right now with increasing traction. Before, we believed that the biometric payment card market would be limited mostly to high net worth individuals and corporate cards. Now we see that it's a mass market proposition, much because of COVID-19. So we're preparing for takeoff, and we're seeing that both the demand and the supply side are now coming together to trigger that market takeoff that we have been waiting for so long. So that concludes my presentation, Richard.